Welcome back, everyone. We are, as usual, two dudes talking 80s. I'm John. That over there is my partner in crime, Lewis.
Hello.
I finally got it down. I noticed last time I pointed in the wrong, opposite direction in which I see you, it worked. So that's why. How you doing, brother? Everything good?
Everything's all right, man. How are you?
All right. You sound a little less froggy. You sounded a lot sexier yesterday when you had the more of a cold. So try and make this short and sweet. So I remember one of your friends, I forgot who, gave us a suggestion. We thought it was a real fun one and immediately started going for it. Who requested this or gave the idea?
I think it was Karen. She puts out a lot of really good suggestions, and I think this was another one of hers. So,
Are you sure? I thought it was Bill.
no, it might have been Bill. You might be right.
All right. Cool. Well, whoever it was, we apologize if we got the wrong person, but thank you. It was a lot of fun. Today, we were tasked with coming up with our favorite 80s songs that included women's names in the title. And there were a lot of them. We actually found a heck of a lot of them. And so I'm sure we're going to be like trying to, stop each other and block each other with the choices. But I have quite a few, so I think I'm ready for you.
Excellent. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
If you let me go first, I know I'm taking one of yours right off the board. So,
Do it, baby. I've got tons of them. So,
all right. So I'm going to start with the song that came out in 1982. And, you can snap your fingers to it. And we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto, because the song is Rosanna.
yes, that's when it was on my list for sure.
All right. So the funny thing about that is that was written about the actress Rosanna Arquette. I don't know if you knew that. But the weird thing about it was the member of Toto who wrote it was not the member of Toto who was dating her. Kind of odd.
That I didn't know.
So if you write a song called Nancy, we're gonna have some issues, all right? But yeah, so Rosanna's one of those songs that you can hear, and every time you hear it, you're probably gonna sing along to it. You probably don't even want to sing along to it. Didn't enjoy it in the 80s, but it's something that grew on me later on in life as I matured and got into those bands that I kind of missed in the beginning and rediscovered, and one of my favorite songs now. So yeah, I got to go with Rosanna.
That's fabulous, man. I like almost all of Toto's stuff, and that is one of my probably all-time favorite songs of theirs. The music production's great, the songs writing is great. The musicianship is always top notch with them. So really, really good pick. I think that was actually at the top of my list.
And the funny thing is, I think at least three or four of the members, they all went to the same high school in Van Nuys. Because I was there for work one day, and they had like a list of it's Grant High School, and they had like photos of famous alumni, and they had like three or four members of Toto. So those guys had quite a history together.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, fabulous musicians, absolutely top notch. All right. Well, the next band that my first band that I'll choose is for a band that was probably better known for their stuff in the 70s. They came out with an absolute smash album in probably the early to mid 70s and came up with a follow-up album shortly after that, and then nothing for 10 years. And you kept going, oh, gee, when is this band going to put out another album? And they kept promising one, kept promising one. They finally put one out in the 80s, and the only really memorable song that I love off of it is called Amanda, and it's by Boston. And again, that's one of those awesome songs. I just really like listening to it. It makes me feel really, really good. So, and again, Boston was just amazing.
Yeah, Tom Schultz, Brad Delp. I mean, if you ever read about how difficult it was for them to even get signed, and then you think about what they're able to accomplish. I remember when the song came out, I think there was a lot of a letdown because you'd been waiting and waiting for a Boston album. I think last one was Don't Look Back in 77. You finally get a new Boston album and they give you a ballad. And I just that after the first chorus where you hear the ding of the bell, I just wondered how many bells Tom Schultz went through, or sounds to get that exactly right, because he's a noted perfectionist. probably to his detriment. He could have probably been the band probably could have been a lot more famous had they had a greater output. But stuck to his guns, and good for him. And I think that's a great song. And luckily I hadn't written it down. Was on my list though. I didn't write this one down. I tried to convert it. I was gonna go with one. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a great pick, and it was gonna be Mr. Mister's Kiri.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, it was until I read up on it and found out that it means Lord have mercy. That is what this Kyrie lesion. I think I'm not exactly sure how they pronounce it.
Not Kyrie Laser.
Yeah, carry a laser. They're into science fiction and stuff. If you've ever seen The Way Back, you know what we're talking about. So yeah, that does not involve a girl's name or a woman's name, but this one does. Carrie by Europe.
Nice. That was also on my list.
You guys know me. I love me some Europe. I love the Final Countdown album. That was the one that first really introduced Europe to the American audiences, even though I had discovered them on the album prior, which was Wings of Tomorrow. But love that song. I remember loving the video. Yeah, just a great song. And I try and sing along and I just can't hit those notes. But Carrie is a great one. And every time I hear it, I used to want to date a girl named Carrie so badly, just so that could be our song.
That was on my list. I was keeping it towards the end of my list. I figured it would also be on your list. So yeah, but it was also on my list. All right. The next one that I'm going with is with a band that I've brought up a few times. Again, they always got sort of the bad rap of being the pretty boy band, but of course I'm talking about Winger and their song Madeline. And again, it's really, really great song. People really, I think, would be better served to appreciate the musicianship that was within Winger. And I mean, looking past the glam and the whole image, they were fabulous musicians. They are fabulous musicians, and I love that song. I think the songwriting is great. I love the riff of the verse and stuff. Is just really sort of balls out. Great song.
And that was the first song that they released too from their debut album. So that was the song that kind of introduced Winger to the world. I also love that song. It was also on my list as you saw me crossing it off. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you have a little Winger history behind you.
I do. A very dear friend of mine, John Antonelli, on a recent trip went and got me this 45. I sort of looked at the back of it, I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I flipped it over. Oh my God, it's a 45. So this is headed for a heartbreak. Not a woman's title song, but still worth the mention.
And I was cheap because I don't think I got you the little circular things for the middle. So I do apologize in regards to that. I'm gonna go one with kind of got this might be on your list too, but I'm still gonna call it out. This band, similar to Boston, probably was known. Well, actually, it was probably known more for their hits in the '60s. And the band, and they kind of switched from Jefferson Airplane to Jefferson Starship, and the song is called Jane. And why are you staring at me so weird?
Are you sure that was in the 80s?
Okay, so that song when I thought, is it not? I'm pulling a Lewis.
I think you might be pulling a Lewis. I'm not 100% sure, but I think you may be.
All right, so we're gonna skip that one, and apparently we can't do Kiri by Mr. Mister. So I didn't have as many as I thought, so I'm running out. All right, I'm gonna go with this one on a technicality, and it's a great song, and technically it's not a woman's name, but it was written about his sister. And yes, we're talking Night Ranger's sister Christian.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Actually, the song was written for his sister Christy, and so the whole song is talking about her and where she's going in her life and everything. And when they started singing it, the other members thought that he was singing Sister Christian as opposed to Sister Christie. So technically, I'm not going to technicality here because until I can figure out if Jefferson Starship was in the 70s or 80s, I'm gonna go with Sister Christian by Night Ranger, and it's a great song. I hated the video because I was like, where are the nuns coming from? Because I knew the background about the story, but I guess Sister Christian, you had to have nuns in it. I don't know. It was the 80s. What can I tell you?
It is a great song, great band, Barry, local boys, and phenomenal guitar players. And yeah, they're still out there doing their thing, man. Not completely the original band, but most of them are.
3 out of 5, which sadly is more than most bands in this day and age can say.
Yeah.
And I saw them a few years ago before COVID. I actually saw them like 2 years in a row, headlining a venue. They still sounded great. Kelly Keagy, I think I believe it was a cancer scare, but he did have some health issues. He's come back performing. He still sounds great. The whole band sounds great, and hopefully they'll be around for a long time and keep rocking out.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. All right. My next one, I am going to get out of the rock world, sort of. I am going to go with Prince, Darling Nikki. And
wow.
yeah, it's a very sort of nasty song. It didn't
What was
get,
it about, Lewis? Oh,
it
by
was,
the way, Jefferson Starship Jane was released in '79.
yeah, I thought it was like,
Missed it by that much.
but it's a cool tune. It's one that didn't get a lot of airplay, but was definitely a favorite with a lot of people that were into Prince. And Jeff Scott Soto actually did a cover of this song with Talisman, which I absolutely adore. So, but anyway, yeah, Prince was just phenomenal on all levels. Great musician, all self-taught, and just multi-instrumental. I can't say enough about the guy. Really cool tune, and it was one that I found that had a woman's name in it.
Good job. I vaguely remember the song. There was a lot of controversy, obviously, around it, based upon what was being discussed in the video or in the song itself. But never really got into that song. Was never a huge Prince fan. Happy I saw him once. I can say I saw him at least once. Glad I did. But for whatever reason, this stuff never really resonated with me. But it's still a good call. All right, I guarantee you don't have this one on your list. This was from a compilation album of all things that came out in 1983, and this was when you first heard of a band called Slayer, and that album is Metal Massacre. Yes, 3, not 2, 3, and it wasn't the Slayer song. No, they didn't do songs with women's names in it. But this band did, and it's a band called Warlord. And on it, they have a song called Mrs. Victoria. And it's kind of a sinister sounding song, a little, wicked. For those who is Warlord, who would you compare them to? They kind of reminded me of a heavier version of Rainbow. They used a lot of keyboards, great guitar playing, amazing drummer. Mark Zonder the drummer went on to play with a million bands, including Fate's Warning. Just a great song, very, like I said, it sounds kind of sinister, has a woman's name. It's the first time we heard of the band Warlord. And if you're into that kind of stuff, if you're into like Rainbow, the classier side of metal, definitely give them a listen. You can find their EP, Deliver Us, go onto YouTube, check them out. But an amazing band, and they never really did much of anything, and it's a sad thing because I always wanted to see them. I think they played a few shows many years later. They played in Greece. My buddy Steve, got me a shirt from their performance, and got to see them live. But they came from San Jose. And their thing was, in the articles I read about them when they started early on, is they really wanted to get to a place where they had some backing so they could do a stage show and do a performance what they believed was worthy of their music. and it was a very theatrical type of band. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, it just never really panned out. But man, they wrote some great stuff. And Mrs. Victoria is a great introduction to the band, and I think the stuff they released later on Deliver Us was even better.
I'll definitely have to check them out because I'm, as you know, I'm a big Rainbow fan. So if that's what they're like, that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, KOME used to. I remember. I think it was KOME. KOME used to play like a metal block or something, and they introduced you to a lot of bands. I remember it was like the first time I heard Great White. I remember hearing Rat on there for the first time from the EP. Obviously Warlord, and they played a lot of really great bands and introduced you to a lot of bands that would go on to bigger and better things. So it was kind of like like going to somebody's house and having them introduce you to cool new things, and I always appreciate that. I wish we had something like that. I'm sure we do, but I'm not aware of it. But on more of a mainstream level to introduce you to the newer music.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Awesome, man. Let's see, which one am I gonna pick out next here? I am going to go with the Knack, My Sharona. And I love
Oh,
that song. Huh?
you better go back.
Really? That wasn't 80s.
That was the '70s, brother.
Ah,
Haha. Did I get you for Jefferson Starship? Right back at you with the knack. So what were you talking
damn.
about?
All right, well, on to my next one. Let's see. I'm even afraid to say this one now. All right, well, I'll go with the one that's safe. Uh, Honestly, the first time that I really heard of this song was when Eddie Murphy was singing it in his prison cell in one of his videos, where he's all like, "Roxanne!" So the police is Roxanne, and
Apparently your microphone can't pick up your high notes. It left.
it's
They were
it's
so high they couldn't get it.
it's selectively picking up my tones to sort
Yeah, I
of
think you
mask
went
my.
up to 11.
And it's sort of funny because I really don't remember ever hearing that song until Eddie Murphy sang it. And then, of course, I heard tons of it on the radio. It's a cool tune. I got into the Police a little bit later on in life, more of a
So did
Sting
I.
fan. But,
I'll be
but,
here all
uh,
week. Try the veal.
but it's a cool tune. It's 80s and it's got the name of Roxanne, which is a woman's name. So it fits the criteria.
All right. Well, good job. Except for that My Sharona thing. And now he's looking, the sweat's beating off his brow. And like,
You
oh,
can't tell 'cause this is covering it.
okay, good. I want to finish mine off with a concept album. And this came out in 1989, probably the greatest concept album in the history of concept albums, at least in my world. And that's Operation Mindcrime by Queensryche. And the song in question is Sweet Sister Mary. So great song, a lot of different variations on that song, and it fits that album to a T. Fit in there perfectly. And not my favorite song from the album, but definitely one of the stronger songs on there. And it has a woman's name.
There you go.
Since you won't let me use Jane and Kiri, it apparently means what I say. Lord have mercy.
Oh, man. Um, so now I'm really paranoid, man, because okay, again, I'll go with a super safe one that I know was done in the 80s. So um my man Steve Perry broke away from Journey, went ahead and put out his first, I think it was his first solo hit,
Street
uh
talk, yeah.
and called Oh Sherry. And when it came out, I thought it was super bubblegummy. I wasn't into it, but it didn't take that long for me to warm up to it, and I love the song now. It is super bubblegummy, super syrupy sweet, but I still love the song.
I don't know why. The thing that stuck out with me when it first came out was that video, and I hated that girl's tights. I don't know why, but that was the thing that stuck with me. It was like, why did they let her wear those stupid tights? And I don't even remember what it was about them, but they bugged me. But and so did the song at the beginning. But I actually grew to love that song as you did as well. One of the things I do remember is Gary Moore talking about the guitar solo. and Gary Moore was saying, you don't need to be a great guitar player to, or a great guitar solo for a hit song. He goes, look at O'Sherry. It sounds like the drummer played it. And Rick Emmett of Triumph kind of, said something like, I understand what he's saying, but if you listen to it, it fits the song perfectly. And this is a guy that's like got nothing to prove. And Wadi Wachtel, I believe is his name. I probably mispronounced it. Huge session musician is the one that did the solo on, and I saw him with Stevie Nicks. I also saw him perform with Immediate Family, and he's a phenomenal guitar player. But so I came to appreciate the solo too, which I didn't originally. So Rick Emmett definitely was right. He'd say Gary Moore was wrong about anything, but I don't necessarily agree with him on that one. And great song.
Awesome. Awesome.
Hey, I hate to end this on kind of a somber note, but the day we're recording this, Alec John Such died today.
I heard
70
about
years
that.
old, the original bass player for Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Very big 80s icon Bon Jovi, and he was their bass player for a lot of years, and sadly passed away today. So keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers. But we lost another one, Alec John Such.
Wow. Wow. How long was he actually with the band?
I would say he was in the band for pretty much their entire heyday.
Really?
I don't know if he was there in the 90s. I don't know exactly when he left the band, but for all their big albums, yeah, he was there.
Wow.
He was
Wonder
there for their debut. I know he was there for Slippery When Wet. He was in the band. And beyond that, I'm not really sure.
wonder what he passed from. That's sad.
I don't think they've released yet, but sadly he's gone.
Yeah, yeah, I think I saw he was born in 1951, not that old.
Not that old, not in this day and age.
No.
So
Way to
we'll
bring
try
us down,
to,
John.
huh?
Way to bring us down, buddy.
I know. Sorry about that. We can talk. We can talk. They Live. Roddy Piper.
That
Who's
is such a great shirt, man. That's awesome.
I went to my very first Monster Palooza. I don't know how many years they've been running it, but if you're into all things monster, that is the place to go. It was crazy. They were showing. They were doing a lot of demonstrations for makeup. To do movie makeup and things like that. And the stuff you saw there was absolutely incredible. Some of the statues that people made, the artwork, the creativity was off the charts. Somebody did a bunch of paintings that were mimicking the paintings in the Haunted Mansion. When you go down the elevator
Yep.
and the paintings stretch, he recreated those using Jamie Lee Curtis's image and Michael Myers from Halloween.
Oh,
They
wow.
were super cool. So there was a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of really cool people. The majority of the cast from Scream was there. My God, the line was crazy for them. They had one of the guys that played Jason Voorhees, Kane Hodder, I think his name is. Just a really, they had the gentleman who played Pinhead in the Hellraiser movies. He
Very
was
cool.
there. So, and the weirdest thing I saw is there was this young girl, and she was dressed like the girl from The Ring,
Uh-huh.
and all of a sudden she gets down on all fours, flips around, so her stomach is facing the ceiling, and she's on all fours, and she starts walking towards people. It was similar to the character of The Ring. Like, it just was freaky. The combination between The Ring and Exorcist, I'm like, yeah, girl, I wouldn't walk towards me. I might kick you across the room. Yeah. Ah, devil. But yeah, it was very cool, very interesting, and definitely something I think I need to go back and do again. So Monster
Nice.
Palooza, and I even picked up a lot of '80s stuff there. So even better.
Awesome, man. That sounds like it
Luckily,
was a
my
lot of
wife
fun.
was there to prevent me from spending more money than I should.
Good deal, brother. Got anything else?
I think we're good, man. It's gonna be a rough week, so we recorded this one early to have it in the can for Sunday, and we'll be back soon doing another one of these bad boys. So, you got nothing else, brother? Go ahead, take us out.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Peace out.
Thank you, guys.